Good evening, everyone. And yeah, we have another invasion of another U.S. city. This time it is Portland. And if anybody remembers back to the good old days of 2020, the people of Portland did a lot of weird shit, honestly. Leaf blowers against tear gas, traffic cones. If I remember correctly, this is a time when there was the wall of moms and the wall of vets, where mothers stood in front of BORTAC agents and federal agents and shielded them with their bodies, I guess. Then there was the wall of vets, and then there was the wall of veterinarians. I don't know. There were a lot of walls back then. A lot of walls. Including one with Mexico that they were going to pay for and didn't. It was a thing. Anyway, the people of Chicago protested the ICE facility in Chicago, and they used tear gas, pepper bullets, all sorts of fun stuff to clear the street, Broadmoor, and they also detained a journalist. So we got that going for us, which is nice. This follows on the heels of Kimmel's removal, then reinstatement, but now they're in Portland. So let's look at some of the video. Haven't done anything about ICE in a while or the deportations, but they're real. They're happening. Last count, there's about 1,600 missing people that have been detained, and nobody knows where they're at, what happened to them, where they got off to. And so here we're gonna share a little bit of a social media feed here, and we're gonna go through some video. But before we do that, please hit like and subscribe, and we'll continue on. So right here, Chicago, this happened today. There was a 500 strong march in Chicago. This is the war zone that Donald Trump is sending military troops in to protect. Now, a very important point here that I discussed with someone here today is this legal? Well, sort of. National Guard, absolutely, that's kind of legal. It's gray area, very gray, very, very gray. But technically, it is within the purview of National Guard troops to be sent in to protect federal law enforcement from harassment, federal buildings, courthouses, federal courthouses, other federal installations. However, sending regular troops, regular military, into a U.S. city with orders to use full force, the courts are going to have to decide this one, and so far the Supreme Court has not been ruling in the favor of the American public, but yeah, this sounds like a violation of posse comitatus, bar none. And frankly, here's what I'm afraid of. The idiot in the White House is going to send armed soldiers into a U.S. city, one that is prone to protest and is honestly a little weird. They're going to send them in there fully armed with orders to use ultimate deadly force if necessary. Now, from what I remember of 2020 and protests after that, fireworks played a key part in the protests. Our military, again, I have said this in an earlier video, I will continue to say it. Our military is not, repeat, not trained for crowd control or other type of law enforcement action. They're particularly not trained to respond to a protest. They are trained for one thing, and really one thing only, and that's to kill people. We can dress it up as much as we want, but that is the purpose of our military, is to kill people. It is to kill enemy soldiers, destroy their equipment, invade their countries, and protect our freedoms. Yeah. So what it honestly, and Portland and Oregon itself is, I've always wanted to go there. I never have been, but I have always wanted to go there. But Portland seems to me, from what I know, the area around it seems to be rife with militia groups white nationalists, Proud Boys, basically the exact opposite of the actual city of Portland. And I could easily see this ending very, very badly. Kent State badly, frankly, because again, the troops are respond to do one thing and one thing only, and that's to kill people. And they're going to be sent there with live ammunition and weaponry. They are going to be facing a bunch of screaming people that are likely going to be possibly throwing stuff at them or saying very unkind things to them. And it will only take one idiot in the crowd to fire a gun in the air, and it will end very, very badly. That is my fear. I give it a month, 2 months maybe, potentially, before something like that happens. Now we'll go back to a little bit of a scroll here. So yeah, this is the war zone in Portland right here. It looks pretty peaceful. Definitely not the war zone that our president says it is on social media before he sends in armed military. Oh, this is an interesting one. Homeland Security admits it tried to manufacture fake terrorists for Trump. A new Homeland Security report details orders to connect protesters arrested in Portland to one another in service of the Trump's imaginary Antifa plot. Oh, and one point about Antifa. It just stands for anti-fascist. U.S. soldiers in World War II were Antifa. Antifa is not a thing. It is not an organization. You don't go to a website. You don't join it. There are no secret initiation rituals or anything else. It is just a thing. Oh, this video is interesting.
They'll eat our kids for breakfast. Oh, yeah.
Before I play this, there was a video leaked of a Border Patrol agent that was caught on basically a body cam, and that body cam footage was released.
Oh, yeah. There's countries like Brazil and other places where they're literal street rats at a very young age and they're committing crimes. And then they come here. I don't know if you have kids, but they'll eat our kids for breakfast.
Okay. This is another point about the Epstein files. It is something we all agree on, and recently a Democrat won a special election which would give the magic 218 that would force the release of the Epstein files in full. However, Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, who is himself is an utterly weird individual, is refusing to seat her because, again, they don't want the files released because there's nothing in the files, but we're going to fight tooth and nail to keep the files from being released because there's nothing in the files. Because if there were something in the files, then we wouldn't want to release them. But there's nothing in the files, but we're not going to release them. If anyone can follow that logic chain, I don't know. Well, I think we'll see what happens in Portland going on. Again, I don't see this ending well at all, particularly in some place like Portland. Chicago is a little bit different. The protests there in 2020 were a lot different than they were in Portland. Let's put it that way. And I think with Portland's history and the history of Portland with Customs and Border Patrol, that this is not going to end well at all. Let's hang in there and talk to you soon.